Mathletes, what is up? Thank you for tuning into this video. We are moving on to 6.5. We're going to start solving some square root equations and radical equations. In this video, we're just going to do an example of solving a square root equation. So what I want you to flip back to is a time where you were maybe freshman, sophomore, and you learned how to do solving one-step, two-step equations. Well, we're going to do that, but now what we're going to do is we're going to add in a square root just to try and throw us off a little bit. But you know us, we're not going to be thrown off. So basically what I want you to think about is getting the mindset of thinking, what is happening to x, right? Well, first, it's being multiplied by 2. Then what's happening? Then we have that it's being subtracted by 3. Next, if you notice, there's a square root sign, so then it's being square rooted. Don't know if that's a verb, but hey, I teach math, so there we go. And then lastly, it's being added by 3. Why is this important for us to write out? Well, what I think it does is I think it helps us basically work backwards. So if at first this equation that I'm going to solve, if it's being added by 3, well, let's do the opposite. Let's subtract 3. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, right? Because I got to balance the equation out. So I'm left with the square root of 2x minus 3 equals 8 minus 3 is 5. Then what's happening? It's being square rooted. Well, how do we get rid of a square root? What's the opposite of a square root? Well, let's just square both sides. Okay, easy enough. I'll take this here and I'll square it. I'll take this here and I'll square it, because what that does, remember the index here is 2. So I'm left with 2x minus 3 equals 25. To get rid of a square root, we square both sides. And now being subtracted by 3, so we have to add 3 to both sides. Just doing the opposite here. Right, now it just turns into a two-step equation. We're adding 3 to both sides. So we're left with 2x equals 28. And then lastly, being multiplied by 2, if you already figured it out, great. We're going to divide by 2. Opposite of multiplication is division, so why don't we go ahead and do that? Divide by 2 on both sides. Are you getting 14? Because I am as well. So that's how we solve a square root equation. Now, on the other side here, what I'm going to do is I left some space, and I'm going to actually check this, because not in this video, but in future videos, we're going to start talking about extraneous solutions, and that requires us to check. So I just want us to get into that mindset. So let's just plug this bad Larry in, and let's see if we get a true statement, or one number is going to equal the same exact number. So let's try this out. 2 times, I'm going to put in 14, right? So now what I've done is anywhere I see an x, I just plugged in 14. So let's just do this out here. So I'm following orders of operations, PEMDAS. So I'm going to do 2 times 14, which is 28, minus 3 equals 8. Now I have 3 plus the square root. 28 minus 3 is 25. It's equal to 8. And then I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. I get the square root of 25. So I could do it that way, where I get the square root of 25 equals 5, or 5 equals 5. And I have myself a true solution. Another way I could have done it is just done 3 plus the square root of 25 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 would equal 8. So we could do it that way too. So make sure you add in that check mark if you do have a true solution or a true statement. 2 numbers equal each other. So hopefully this helps. Introduction to solving squared equations. Pay attention. Be on the lookout for more videos coming. We'll go over some harder examples. Peace.